Kayla.
Hi.
How are you?
Really good, thank you. Warm,
It
quite
is
warm,
it
but
is warm on this very hot, sunny, balmy August day in sunny Wiltshire. But I just want to say thank you for coming on to this episode of Beyond the Hashtag.
not a problem. Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Kayla Wilson. I'm the head of marketing for an online furniture company called Furniture Box. It got its start in 2015, started by our two founders, Dan and Monty, at the age of 17. So yeah, we're now, since the pandemic, seen kind of huge growth like lots of other home companies have. We're now kind of nearly 50 staff members. So it's a really exciting time to be part of. Yeah.
Wow, when did you join?
Nearly 2 years ago now. So I started September 2020, just as life was going a little bit back to normal, and then joined the Furniture Box team just as they were really growing.
Amazing. 50 employees. They must be so proud of themselves.
I think so. They're both very humble, but yeah, I think everyone's really proud of the guys. They're really kind of supportive of the team and everyone's input in it. And I think they're really chuffed with where it's going, and I'm really excited for the future as well.
Amazing. And for those who don't know, and we'll put the links in the show notes anyway, but what does Furniture Box offer and do?
So we are all things home furniture. We've got lots of dining sets. That's a really core area for us. But we've also got, living room furniture like coffee, side tables, sofas, beds, mirrors. Yeah, anything home furniture is us.
Amazing. And the reason why I really wanted to get you guys on to Beyond the Hashtag is because the growth and the community that you've built over the last few years in particular is pretty impressive. It would be great to hear from you about your marketing journey and what part social media plays in that for Furniture Box.
We've always had quite a focus on Instagram. That's kind of our core social channel, partly because when we started, it was very image focused. And a big part of what we know really sells our products is just good imagery. And we're really fortunate that we get lots of customers tagging us in photos of their home. I think we've kind of really honed in on people just love to show off their homes, and Instagram's the platform for that. So we get loads of content from our customers, some influencers, and we kind of get some real kind of brand ambassadors on Instagram actually. And then that kind of filters out to our other social channels. But yeah, Instagram's the really important one for us.
Yeah.
If we had every customer buy something and then follow us on Instagram, we'd be just really chuffed, because it's just a great way for us to kind of stay in contact with customers and kind of build a bit of a bond with them in a more personal way.
Yeah, and so how do you do that? Like what sort of techniques or tactics do you really focus on in terms of build that relationship building? Because that's really where the essence of social is, right? That's how you really generate return on investment.
Yeah, and it's actually not easy. I mean, a lot of people, I don't think, want to interact with a brand, and we totally get that. I think I'm the same. But we do try the best we can, and we have things like follow-up emails after people have purchased, and one of those emails will say, why don't you follow us on Instagram, tag us in your product, and then we'll share your post, and we make every effort to share it and try and make people feel a bit special. We do things like Instagram stories with round up some of our blogs, and then we'll tag people in it to try and get people to share it, and just be kind of open and encouraging other people to kind of tag us. So then we'll share that and help those people grow their home accounts, and they just love getting visibility, which is really nice.
Yeah, I was going to say that makes a lot of sense, because there must be tons of people aspiring to become influencers in that space using Instagram, purchasing your product. Naturally, there's just already a community there for it, and a kind of an exchange, isn't there, of content and visibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the home kind of corner of Instagram, you see a lot of the same names kind of pop up, and they're all interacting with each other, and they do the same with us, and they'll regularly comment on our things, or they'll message us directly, and just like have a chat as well, which is really nice. I mean, it'd be great if more customers just wanted to message us with their ideas for their home, and just see what we think. I mean, that's the dream for social media engagement for us, I think.
Yeah, 100%. That's the community, isn't it? Exchanging ideas and talking about how they've used your product and how it could be used in ideas and inspiration. Do you use Pinterest on a side note for that?
Yeah, we do. We started putting more effort into Pinterest. Initially it was making sure you do it properly. You kind of got to make sure you're doing all the captions and your alt tags and everything really kind of correctly. And it was quite time consuming. The tool we use for scheduling now recently launched a Pinterest integration that's made that a lot easier for us. So yeah, there's a big push for us on Pinterest now. So we'll see what happens. It's early days, so we're not kind of confident of how useful it is for us yet, but it feels like the right thing to do because I personally love Pinterest. So
Yeah,
yeah,
what's not to love? Inspiration everywhere. Yeah, but like I said, it does take time, loads of it. Speaking of time, how much time is being spent on your social media side, like in your job role? Is it a
yeah,
lot? Do you think it needs loads? Kind of, what's your thing?
yeah. I mean, luckily it's not just me that has to do our marketing. So we've got a team. There's 7 of us, and there is one girl in our team whose role is probably split 50-50 in terms of how much time she dedicates to social media. So probably a couple of days a week if you kind of compiled it together, scheduling content, creating content, communicating with customers, managing influencers, just messaging people if we can use their content they've tagged us in, things like that. So sometimes the admin side of it is the thing that can actually take the longest.
It really does, but it can also have the better results, can't it? Is that I always say to our clients, we don't just post stuff out. It's not just about ticking a box and making sure, yes, we're really planned, yes, we're ahead of the game, but actually that's just one small part, making sure there's stuff going out on your feed. The real magic kind of happens when you have the time to do all that extra relationship building.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we want to put thought into it. And we do spend quite a bit of time thinking like as a team, trying to get ideas for things we could be posting and not just constant, here's a picture of some furniture, but trying to just be a little bit more what's going on socially, what can we add commentary on? Because I think all of our customers are interested in lifestyle things. So we try and broaden the scope of what we're putting out there to just make us seem a little bit human as well.
Do the founders enjoy showing up on the socials? Do you have lots of people on there being the face of the business?
Yeah, I think we've got quite a few people who are a bit camera shy still. We want to be doing more behind the scenes content. We know that customers really like it. People like the story of the brand, started by two 17-year-olds. It's unusual and people do like reading about it, seeing the guys. We're getting them in front of the camera more now. I think they're a bit more comfortable with it that now versus when I started. And then there's a few people in the company who don't mind being on camera and are quite relaxed about it. So yeah, we'll get people on there a little bit more as we go on.
Nice. So how do you plan for all that stuff? How do you prepare your content? I know you said there's somebody who does the social media, maybe only half of their role, because this could be a
Yeah.
full-time post, surely, for a company that size.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially as we invest in more channels, I think, this year we want to launch TikTok as a trial, as everyone else is doing at the minute. I think the amount of time that's going to have to go into creating content for that, you could be looking at a day a week just to record all of the videos. So I think we will be putting more into social media, especially because Instagram now wants more video content. So it's not as quick as a photo. And we have to put a lot more work to be getting the same kind of engagement. So yeah, there should be a lot more of it for us as we go on.
And how are you planning and preparing for what you're doing right now? Is it quite structured? Do you work on the fly?
Kind of in between, I guess. We use like a scheduling tool and we kind of come up with sort of broad themes. We like our grid to look consistent with like a color scheme. It's nice when you scroll through a grid and it's really clear theme to it and it just looks really good. So we kind of plan it in that sense, but otherwise we try and keep it quite flexible. I think it's a lot of our content depends on what we're being tagged in because a lot of customer content fuels what we post. And then having a bit of the flexibility to comment on things just generally happening, it's better to, I think, to give people the freedom with it rather than a real rigid content calendar, I think.
Cool. Oh, very good. Yeah, that's complete, not opposite, but it's a mixture, as you
Oh,
say, for different ways of
yeah.
working. And I find that when it's in house, you definitely have that flexibility to work in that way. I mean, for Naturally Social, it works very much like that. But with our clients, you have to be super structured and planned so we can make sure that we have the time to do all the fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think for us in the company, especially we're in this kind of phase of growing, a bit fast. It's hard to plan too far ahead. Things like launching products for us could be, we might have a product that we think is coming in 2 months' time. It could just arrive weeks early. It could get pushed back. And if we planned in too much detail, like a social media launch for that, and we're really rigid in how we do that, it could all just collapse and, it would be a bit of a mad panic. I'm sure as we get bigger, we'd have to be a little bit more structured. But for now, yeah, flexible works for us.
Yeah, that's the good thing about small businesses.
Yes. Yeah, you kind of have to be, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. What's your relationship like with social media personally? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you everywhere? Are you nowhere?
It's a love-hate relationship. I'd like to say that I'm one of those people that's like I limit my social media, but I really don't actually. I'm probably a little bit addicted. Instagram is probably my main home, but it's mostly just pictures of my dog and cocktails. So it's not particularly good. But then TikTok, I did join it probably about 6 months ago for research purposes, and research has just turned into opening the app and losing an hour of my evening. And that one's a bit addictive, but I do still like social media. It's really nice to kind of see what friends and family are doing. You feel a bit more connected to people in your lives, even though you're not. So yeah, love hate.
Yeah, love that. You mentioned influencers earlier, and I can imagine that working really well for you guys. Do you have a structured influencer campaign or strategy? Sorry.
Yeah, people kind of approach us for collaborations. We find reaching out can be kind of, you have to really reach quite far and send messages to 50 people and get one response. So yeah, we let a lot of them come to us, and we've been really fortunate that it's led to some kind of bigger, more sort of celebrity collaborations that have been really good. We get mixed results. It depends who you work with, depends how invested they are in the brand. We've kind of got better at spotting red flags early on. So things like, if they're really, really quick at communicating with us, they reply, they're trying to build rapport and be a bit chatty. We know that if we do work with them, if we message them or have to ask for something, they're going to be really responsive. And if they seem like they genuinely like the brand, that's always helpful, because if they're more invested, they're going to put a bit more effort in. And we've been really fortunate that some people we work with, like kind of more micro influencers, like home accounts, they do the agreed content, and then every time they're posting a picture of their living room, they tag us in it every single time. So the value there, yeah, we just get real long-term value out of those relationships versus maybe a lifestyle influencer who just wanted the free thing and we had to chase them. And so yeah, we're getting better at it, and we're kind of learning where the value is now.
That's cool. Yeah, I think micro influencers are really where the better engagement is right now. And so where the
Yeah.
most value is. So are they paid partnerships, or are you kind of going like, hey?
Yeah, we've got away with kind of doing product gifts because it's high value stuff. Usually it kind of aligns with what they're charging in their media packs anyway, if not a little bit more. So I think the perceived value for them is quite high. It's easy for us. We ship the product really quickly and then get the content that we want. So yeah, most of them have been that. I think we've only done a few paid partnerships.
And also, I kind of hadn't thought about that, but that's a product that they keep for life and it's high value. Yeah, you would
Yes.
turn around and say, well, actually, it's the
Yeah.
same cost, I guess. So
Yeah, exactly. They get more out of it, I suppose. And most people seem to keep it. We'll see posts from people in, a couple of years ago and they've still got the same dining table. So yeah, it's quite nice that you just get this long-term relationship from it.
about to say, do you nurture that long-term relationship? Are you always aware, and are your team always aware of who you've worked with in the past, and therefore to look out for their content and to continue nurturing that? Or is it a do it and go and move on to the next approach?
Definitely long term. Yeah, I think we quite often will sort of message people we've worked with and just say, hey, we're doing this competition, or we've got this going on with like a campaign at the minute. Would you mind sharing? And they do, which is great. They don't have to. The girls in my team are really good at building rapport, and we'll just sometimes sort of message for a little chat, or some of the influencers we've worked with will reply to some of our stories and just kind of just ask how we are, and we do the same back. And yeah, so that side of it goes really well actually.
Nice. So I think there's a really good message there. It can work, can't it? You need to invest in it though and find the right people.
Yeah, it's as much the kind of monetary investment of, the paid or the product, but it's also just time. Because I suppose they want to support a brand that they believe in, so it seems genuine for their followers. So it helps if we're just kind of friendly and nice and build that relationship so that they'll want to share us with their followers, because it's important, I think, that they protect that and be genuine.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. So I was going to come on to what have you learnt over the last couple of years working with Furniture Box on their social, but also in terms of your entire like marketing career. What are some of those biggest lessons that you've learnt about social media that our listeners could take away and work with?
Oh, I think the main thing we've learned is probably is that we're still learning. It feels like sometimes you think you know what we're doing and we know what works, and then the algorithm changes or people's behavior changes or types of content, like Instagram switching from static images to videos. So we're kind of always on our toes a little bit with it, and not assuming that we know what we're doing. Hence why we don't necessarily plan too far ahead. I think for us, generally, I've always found in my career, you can kind of get in a bit of a bubble sometimes within your team and not necessarily know what's going on in the world and things that are changing. So a big thing for us is just actually spending time learning about what other people are doing, going to events, webinars, seminars, workshops, and just trying to get new ideas from what other brands are doing, and just be continuously learning, because it does change so quickly and it's easy to kind of forget and keep doing the same thing, and then suddenly everything's changed and you're behind.
Yeah, definitely. What about, speaking about learning, analytics? How het up do you get about analytics and monitoring and understanding? And is that a good thing for people running social accounts?
Yeah, I think it's a really useful tool. I think the hard thing for social media managers in particular is that you kind of need two sides of being a really creative person, and you need to have some design skills with, like, say, Canva, but you also need to have the analytical side, and that could be quite hard, actually, the two sides of it. We try and use as much analytics as much as possible. The publishing tool we use has some quite good analytics features in there. We also use Google Analytics a lot, for however valid that is with cookies and things. So yeah, we try and kind of not get completely lost in the data and still keep the human side of it, of what feels right. The feedback you're getting from followers is not necessarily something you can measure, but it's like a feeling of what's working. But yeah, we do spend quite a bit of time on our analytics and reporting, and trying different things, seeing what the impact is, and then trying something else.
What are your favourite tools for social?
Yeah, I was going to say, am I allowed to share the ones we use?
Yes.
We recently, 6 months now maybe, have been using Content Cow.
Cool.
Yeah, I heard about it from like a marketing webinar, and it was one of the sponsors, and I took a look. The thing I really love about it is it's more than just social media scheduling. So we can add as many of our own custom channels as we'd like. So, I've created channels on there for press releases, got blogs, our emails, giveaways. We've just got a thing on there for when we're going to run a competition. And though it doesn't schedule and post, you've just got a really good broad view of everything everyone's doing. So it's just a really good way to kind of collaborate and have your whole marketing plan and content calendar in one. So yeah, I love it. It's been the best tool I think I've used for a long time.
Wicked, I might have to look into that. I've heard of Content Cow, but I didn't realise it hooked everything up like that and made you have a kind of overall marketing plan view.
Yeah, you can kind of customize it quite a bit. You can add campaigns and notes in. Just you could just add a little comment saying that it's National Tea Day, and then it's just there for people to kind of see and be aware of. So yeah, it's a really great tool. I am shout about it a lot.
Nice, good shout out. Any other tools that you love?
For social media, that's the main one we're using, actually. We've got it all there. I've used things like Hootsuite in the past, but yeah, for social media, it's Content Cow.
Amazing. Cool. Well, it's been lovely talking to you, Kayla, but before we let you go, it's time for my favourite bit of the show, the epic social media fail. So this episode's social media fail is one coincidentally, about influencer marketing with Booty Shake. Tell us about this campaign, Kayla.
Yeah, I remember seeing this at the time. I don't know how to say his name. Scott Disick? Is that how you
Yes.
say his name? The Kardashian family. Yeah, just literally copying and pasting the caption sent to him by Booty, which also included the instructions for how to post it. So it was just extremely obvious. He didn't give it much thought, copy and paste from an email, posted it, and he was done. Yeah, it's not good, I'm sure, for him or the brand. I think it was a fail on a few sides.
Yeah, it was hilarious, wasn't it? I'm looking at the stats on our link, which again we'll add in the show notes, but 3,992 likes and over 100 comments within 21 minutes saying like, hello, caption, seriously? And yeah, it just said, here you go, at 4 p.m. EST, write the below, semicolon, caption, keeping up with the summer workout routine with my morning Booty UK protein shake. It's just like influencer fail, isn't it, as well?
You can imagine, like, if I was the marketing person who'd sent that, it would just be pure panic to try and fix it, and then thinking, well, how am I going to get hold of this guy to tell him to change it? It would just be, yeah, panic stations, and just, yeah, you'd be absolutely gutted, all that money wasted.
Yeah. So, what lessons can other people learn if they're stepping into the influencer world? This is obviously quite a large influencer, I would say, in terms of the audience they were trying to tap into and who he was. So, there's going to be a lot of money exchange there, I'd imagine. What sort of things do you advise anybody considering going into the influencer space?
Yeah, I guess kind of touched on a bit earlier actually, is looking for those red flags or green flags. I think for us, sometimes the bigger the account, the kind of less responsive they're going to be, because they're flooded with messages, their social media is really busy. They've probably got a team that are actually doing a lot of it for them. So, how genuine is it that you're dealing with this person? Does everyone following know that this is not really them? I think we often look at things like, what other content are they posting and how much of it is ads? And then, you can kind of look and see, okay, was that product actually relevant to their personal branding, or have they just taken the money and posted it? Because I think followers have a really good sense, I think, of what is genuine, and it's worth spending some time just scoping out their profile and see what else they're up to. And if it's a lot of advertising, then yeah, that's a bit of a red flag that the person isn't really going to care about your brand.
Yeah, totally agree. Make sure they connect and they're genuine. Just make sure they're a good fit for your brand. And as you say, like, that can be done just by scrolling through their content, looking at their answers, how they communicate with others, what they're posting. Is it genuine? Is it consistent?
Absolutely. And sometimes I think it could be better, looking at, 5 micro influencers who total the same amount of following, but actually are all going to work a lot harder for you because they want the opportunity to work with brands, versus one person who's got that total following. So yeah, sometimes it's worth starting smaller first.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, Kayla, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Wishing you all the best in your role, wishing the guys the best in this next stage of growth at Furniture Box, and hope to see you in person at some point.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Take care.
Bye.